Stephano was to get this convincing victory. He had the big edge for upgrades for the longest time. He went in there with 2-2, where his opponent had no armor upgrades at all, and those Lings were doing ridiculous damage, but the positioning of the tanks was so fantastic. He was able to survive and continue there, and indeed, we were just checking the lobby chat actually. No, Stephano did not indeed swear instead of GG. Apparently, he typoed something which got kicked by the swear filter or something along those lines, which is kind of weird, but Stephano doesn't tend to rage in that respect, but I'm sure that was not intentional. Whatever the case, TSL Polt, who is currently 2 games to 1 in his best of 7 series. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the northwest of Shakuras Plateau versus his opponent over the other side in the closer air. He is Millennium Stephano in the blue trunks playing Zerg to the northeast.
Close by air here on Shakuras Plateau, and I wonder if that will influence any decisions that we're going to see from Polt in the next few minutes on this game. Does he try to do any Banshee plays? Because Banshee plays are actually pretty good if you can pick off a few drones, potentially a Queen, and then just back up with, expansions of your own and proceed to a normal style of play. But it looks like we're seeing a gasless play here from Polt. And upon going gasless, he's basically saying, all right, Stephano, I do want a decent economy, but go ahead and creep spread. Just go ahead and creep spread. So, and in that regard, if you don't stop creep spread, any form of pushes you do become a lot more difficult because the creep spread is now there. Stephano can move a lot more mobile across the map. So Stephano, upon seeing this, does he now react with a faster third? We'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Polt's done so well up to this point due to tank positioning, but tank pushing across a map of this size with rampant creep spread, especially if he doesn't control the Zelnaga tower, he'll need to do that. But that is incredibly slow, and it's much, much easier to pick off. But this is a good tank map one way or the other, so perhaps he can pull it off anyway. And
I really don't think that Stephano can be aggressive with Roaches, with Lings, with Banelings on this map. Because of the natural area, the ramp of the natural it's so narrow that if you do try that, you're going to filter your units through, and it's going to be very easy for Polt to spread out on the higher ground while you're filtering through on the lower ground. So we'll see if Stephano does that. I really do believe that Stephano will just look for a much faster third base here, and we do have this little bunker pressure. Marine is coming to help out and will push the drones away. Stephano immediately realizing that threat does chase the Marine, but he doesn't want to chase too far here. If he actually goes all the way to the Zelnaga tower, that would be the worst thing for Stephano, and Polt is giggling because that's so much mining time lost. Yeah,
it really, really is. He loses, what, 25 minerals, and Stephano loses way more than that in terms of mining time. That's the point of that. We're not in Bronze League. You're not going to do damage with that. It's designed to hurt the economy.
And we do have double gas as a follow-up here for Polt, so we will be going straight into a factory here. He could go into Banshee play from here, not as, I don't think it's as viable as just going, he could actually see, we could see mech, we very much could see mech, but it's more so to get the Hellions out, because he does want to prevent that creep spread, just not straight away, because he's gone for the command center first.
This is very true. Stephano hasn't started doing that just yet. He does only have 2 queens, and by the looks of it, he's just going to try and land those injects. Some players do like to sacrifice an inject early on in the game to start that creep tumor rolling, because once it's on the ground, you can replicate it over and over again. Polt's actually going with another command center here.
Yeah, I mean, double expanding here behind this seems fine, especially because we said that eliminating that all-in from Stephano's play would be the best choice for Stephano, and it's very difficult to pull an all-in off here, but oh my god.
Well, that was a little bit sneaky.
Annoying.
You mad? He even gets the Ling out there. Well, there you go. That's a little bit cheeky right there by Stephano, and just delaying that and getting some great information in the process. That Ling is rather pleased with itself, a little smuggling.
And unfortunately for Stephano, we didn't see that command center. It was just far enough right where it wasn't seen, and Stephano throws down a second gas here, so he's going to ramp up the gas production, actually including a third gas. Are we going to see Stephano tech up to 2 base layer here, which seems very weird from Stephano? This is not really his playstyle, and I would have thought that his playstyle would have been for a third base, so very surprising play here, and there is the layer from Stephano, so this is something we hardly see, and he's mixing it up in the best of 7 series.
Well, he has to. He really does. As Stephano always changes things around if he loses a map. He's got a lot of different builds. People know him for the Ling Ultra style against Terran, but when Polt's able to shut that down within a single map and then dictate the game so much. That was more of a case of the game was dictated to Stephano rather than the other way around, and Stephano was forced down a particular path. Polt now moving in with a few Hellions and looking to potentially deny creep spread. The creep tumors are quite active though, and there is now that third queen to make that happen, so they're going to struggle a little bit to make that work, and we're going to also see a double engineering bay coming up from Polt as well.
And a little bit of a mistake from Stephano, not going into the fourth gas here, just now corrects that, but does lose about 100 gas because of that. Could be a Mutalisk. So we'll see if he does throw down the Spy, which I really think we're going to see here. And the thing is with Stephano is, even though he plays one style over and over, he's very much so able to play everything. That was one of the things when studying Stephano, I was like, all right, this guy prefers this, but can do anything.
Yeah.
And usually, I mean, this actually could catch a lot of Terran players off guard because they do cut corners, they cut the turrets out, for example, which Polt, and against Stephano, hasn't built a single turret.
Well,
ever.
yeah. Why would he? Stephano is one of the most studied players. As far as I'm concerned, if I remember correctly, the quote was he's the most studied foreigner in Korea. And that can actually potentially play against any Korean that's playing. It would work against foreigners as well, honestly, because him going Mutalisk in this matchup is not very common.
And Polt scouting around that third base and he's like, really? All right, Stephano's changing it up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a scan in the main base very shortly here to confirm the layer, but Stephano has hidden the Spire underneath Overlord creep spread just above the natural here, so it's going to be very difficult to find it. And Polt may even read this as two-base Infestor because Stephano loves Infestors so much.
Yeah, he does. Way more than Mutalisk. It's not a very common build from him, but let's see how he can play it. He's trying to outpace those Hellions, and Polt looking for a perfect position. Give him a little bit of the run around here. Hello! There we go. Admittedly, it was kind of cool, but that was 4 Banelings invested to kill 4 Hellions, and it wasn't the best trade.
And that was a little bit sloppy by Polt, to be honest. That shouldn't really happen there. No. But anyway, we do see 7 Mules coming in. Guess what? There's no turrets in the mineral line, and there's been no scan by Polt. And now he lost the Hellions, now he's lost map control and the Zelnaga towers, and these Mules have popped. The SCV line is actually going to be
completely
disappearing
exposed
very shortly. It's going to be a vanishing act, TotalBiscuit, because this is going to be so much damage coming, and the Mulists now are heading towards that north line, and this non-expecting play is going to really catch Polt off guard. Watch this.
Indeed.
Get your cameras ready.
Yeah, they will be disappearing. It brings a new meaning to the word magic box. And Stephano gonna go for it. He doesn't have...
Surprise!
Yes, they're like, what is that? Why are there Mutalisks here? You were playing Stephano, right? And some damage is being done. Turrets are gonna have to come down, and multiple point Marines are gonna have to come into play. The edge that he's got here is actually his upgrade count is really good. TSL Polt's got +1/+1 on his Marines, going the double engineering bay. And now he's gonna just swing around to the third. He's got Lings to back him up as well, and it's going to try and gut this mineral line, and oh hello, that's a lot of mules that could go down here. Good damage being done there by Stephano, and of course preventing mining time, killing plenty of workers.
And even though this is very good for Stephano, he's doing a lot of damage. He could pick off the command center, and that is going to be the key thing.
Oh, it's so low.
Stay for
150. He's repairing from underneath. He's repairing from underneath. Will it be enough? The Lings go down. He saves it. Nicely done by Polt.
And this fast third command center, as you said, is enabled upgrades. He's almost at +2 and +2 armor. Mulists are going to be useless. There's turrets, there's Marines, there's, wait a minute, is the Medivacs? No, there's no Medivacs, but it doesn't matter. 2-2, this is still good enough, and Stephano has to tech out of this. I truly believe that an infestation pit has to come down, otherwise we will see the Mulists just being pushed around way too much. The starport is finally in making now, and Stephano, though, can take advantage of the starport being a little bit later here because he's throwing gas into upgrades rather than the Medivacs. That the Marines are going to be very much so overstimmed.
Yeah, I want to see Lings now onto that third because of just how damaged these are. We've seen that work before, but the upgrades will certainly help. As you can see, even with +1/+1, those mutas just fall from the sky so fast.
And Stephano, meanwhile, taking third and fourth base at the same time. Infestation Pit still has to come down. We do see Macro Hatch coming down first, and he's going for Burrow here. I wonder if he will stay on Ling, Baneling, and just Mutalist, but the Infestation Pit, because this push is going to come, and Marines are going to be so effective, is that fungal growth, of course, neglects upgrades.
Yes, it does.
So it doesn't matter how well these are upgraded, and if you catch clumped up Marines with fungal growth, that's where Stephano can easily change the game, and without that, I believe he's going to struggle. And we're going to see that because he's not doing it. I do think he's going to struggle here.
Yeah, he's going +2 air and +2 melee. It smells to me like he really wants to go Broodlord in this game, if I'm totally honest. Transition out, get a good meter count, and then transition out into Broodlords. The upgrades, of course, do indicate that, and then go something like Broodlord Infestor with Burrow. We'll see if that happens, but he's against 2-2 now. He must realize what he's up against, and he's got to be incredibly careful.
Still finding holes inside Polt's base to harass, and I really do believe also here that Stephano's losing quite a lot there, but imagine now if Stephano throws in something else unexpected, and that is going to be Bored Banelings. Never have we seen Stephano use Bored Banelings in a tournament match in the entire of this tournament either, and I don't think we're going to see scans from Polt expecting that, and that could be game-changing. That could be the equivalent of those infestors instead.
Yeah, note how good his creep spread's been behind all this harassment as well. He's over the halfway line, he's over the Zelnaga watchtower. That is incredible. He's got plenty of visibility there. Of course, the downside of that is that if he does use Burrowed Banelings, the creep spread is going to force a lot more scans, or in an extreme case, a Raven coming out, which would negate that advantage.
And he's still harassing around, picking off supply depots, but Polt is almost at 200 supply now, working on three upgrades at the 16-minute mark. Boy, that's pretty fast. And we do have Stephano, no Bored Banelings, he hasn't set anything up now, he's just going to go for a large jump onto Polt here very shortly, as Polt's going to press the issue as he starts to scan and get rid of creature tumors. Tank is naked here, and Stephano just immediately picks that off. Polt has to be careful.
Yeah, it's like, hey, these Mutalist things are pretty good, aren't they? So he's able to do some damage. Whoa, morphing and Banelings almost in range. He didn't actually see that. The scan then reveals it. Going for the run, staying on the creep. A lot of damage has been done by Still to this point. Good pick-off as well of the Medivac at the back, and this creep spread is so useful.
Oh, really nice control with Mutalist there as well, but upgrades now for Stephano, 2-1. Mulish about to get their +2 attack as well. He is waiting for that patiently. And are we going to see Stephano go for it? He sets up a brilliant flank from 3 different angles.
You can't fit it on the screen. It is that epic. Here it comes, crashing down. Oh, wow. Dangerous stuff here. Stephano annihilates the army in the center. No problems. Almost casually discarding those heavily upgraded units. Like, upgrades? What are those? I've got Banelings and a command center being slapped. Banelings morph right in front of the command center. Brazen play here by Stephano.
Oh, Stephano. And they're showing, guys, you know I don't ever play Mutalist? No, I'm actually very good at doing it also. Don't worry about that. And he's just controlling them so well. They've been so efficient in this game. Polt not out of it yet. +3 is finishing for the Marines.
Lings with Banelings, not the best trade against a Thor, but he's taking it out nonetheless, and then the Lings get to clean up against that tank straight into the middle. There's a Baneling just, oh wow, smashing its way through there, and now aggression coming out of the front, and Medivac count is only at 2, and this is really wearing him down. These mutas are tearing everything to pieces.
And without that third base, Polt won't be able to establish the economy needed. He'll be able to produce a few units, but it doesn't matter, it's gone.
About to down. Oh yeah.
Stephano is going to hive. He's sealing the deal. He's producing so many more units, realizing that my opponent really can't make that much now, Diapolo, and I'm like, I know Stephano, and he's just going to go for a really big push, and here come the Lings, TotalBiscuit, here come the Banelings, and he's going to try and push Polt out of the game.
Oh, and this is going to get brutal. Here it comes. Banelings target fired once again here by Polt. Does he have the numbers to really make it work? And Stephano actually takes significant losses. Polt holds incredibly well.
He does indeed, and that's the power of 3-3 Marines.
Oh,
and
yeah.
2 Thors in there do have +2 damage as well, so do the tanks, but Stephano wanted to end the game there, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't. Now he has to sit back and end it in a few more minutes' time. It's still difficult. You know, Polt has lifted up his main command center, which means he couldn't mine gas from his main now and has to mine it from the natural, and I can't even believe that's there, by the way. I don't even know how that got there, but it's there.
He's hiding in the bushes. Oh! Hello, Borrowed Banelings. That's a first.
When that happens, when you're on this economy, that really does sting.
It actually really does. It's really not very pleasant. Thank you for pointing that out. The creep spread has receded significantly. We've got this base down here as well. Stephano's economy has gone untouched for the last, say, 20 or so minutes. It's been really, really great. He's got a significant advantage, and it's like, yes, Polt held really well, but he can't do that all that much, and now the Infestor's coming into play.
And the thing is, Stephano can't fight with kind of equal amounts of units because he doesn't have the upgrades, but oh no.
Oh dear God, +2 against that. I mean, they've got +3 armor, which actually lets them survive fairly well, but it's still pretty devastating. That is honestly the only active mining base. This was just hobbling along, very little left in it, and Stephano just waiting for Polt to push.
And the tank count is very high here, and all of a sudden, you know, Stephano looked in such a convincing position. It's not actually as convincing as it seems, because at the mid stage of the game, that's when the win should have been secured. As the game goes later, is that this expansion here, where does Stephano take a 5th base? There's actually nowhere he can, which is where things does get difficult for Stephano, but he is close to having the Grid Aspire done, and he's going to be having Broodlord. Surely upgrades are finishing as well for Stephano, but we do see Polt pressing the issue here, and he's going to start moving towards it, and Stephano just waiting, trying to wait for the Broodlords to come out, and he may actually sacrifice his entire South economy and just say, all right, I can't do anything about it. I'm just going to make these Broodlords, and then I have to take a fight, win or lose.
There's no angle you can approach that from. Look at the size of it.
Oh, he's coming in from behind, though, in the center, but the Marine count, you know,
yeah, it's too good. There's a rear guard. As I said, there's just no angle you can come into on the ground. That base is gone. This base is about to go down as well. This is all going to come down to Stephano getting the Broodlords out and actually doing damage. Vikings are now on their way. They're, of course, rather late, but this tank push from Polt, again, is proving devastating.
Stephano's not making this easy for his fans now, as the Broodlords are being morphed in a lot, and they have been spotted by the Thors, and they're about to morph. He's going to lose too.
Wow, what a salvo that was. Those upgrades, incredibly good. He crashes down on them. There are still a few Broodlords available to start pushing this back, and the presence of Broodlords will have, it's just going to involve these tanks moving backwards. They're going to have to.
But I think there's too many Marines.
There may be.
There's only 3 Infestors, only 1 Fungal Growth available. Lings are going to die incredibly fast here, and if Stephano's caught naked in the center, by the way, Broodlords are pretty slow.
Uh-oh, no, he doesn't want to be anywhere near that. He's a Fungal Growth. Oh, wow, 2 Broodlords ripped out of the sky. Stephano is falling again as Polt refuses to die under any circumstances. Good God. GG.
What?
Wow.